3. Backward chaining. In backward chaining, the training starts with the last step of the sequence and works backward to the first step. This method can be effective because it allows the individual to experience the complete behavior sooner. For example, in teaching someone to tie their shoes, you might start by teaching them how to make the final knot, then how to create the loops, and finally how to position the laces. 4. Reinforcement. Reinforcement is essential in chaining. Each time the individual successfully completes a step, they receive a reward or positive feedback. This reinforcement encourages them to continue practicing and helps solidify the behavior. 5. Practice and consistency. To successfully learn a chain behavior, consistent practice is crucial. Repeating the entire sequence regularly helps the individual become proficient and confident in performing the behavior. Important details. Individual learning pace. Each person or animal learns at their own pace. It's important to be patient and adjust the steps as needed based on their progress. Some may need more time on certain links in the chain. Clear instructions. Providing clear instructions for each step is vital. If the steps are too vague or confusing, the individual may struggle to learn the behavior. Visual cues. Using visual aids or demonstrations can help clarify each step in the chaining process. This can be especially useful for learners who benefit from seeing a behavior performed. Examples to illustrate the concepts. Example in cooking. If you want to teach someone how to bake a cake, you can use chaining. Start by teaching them to gather all the ingredients, then how to mix them, followed by pouring the batter into a pan, and finally baking the cake. Each step builds on the previous one until they can bake a cake independently. Example in animal training. A trainer teaching a dog to perform a trick like rolling over might use forward chaining. First, the dog learns to lie down, then to roll onto its side, and finally to complete the roll. Each behavior is practiced and reinforced until the dog can roll over on command. Example in daily routines. A parent helping a child learn to brush their teeth might use backward chaining. They might start by teaching the child how to rinse their mouth, then how to brush the teeth, and finally how to put toothpaste on the brush. This way, the child feels a sense of accomplishment early on. Summary. Chaining is a behavioral technique that involves teaching complex behaviors by breaking them down into smaller, sequential steps. It can be done through forward or backward chaining, with each step linked to the next. Reinforcement, clear instructions, and consistent practice are crucial for success. Understanding chaining is valuable for anyone studying psychology or preparing for the CPC exam, as it provides effective strategies for teaching and learning new behaviors in various contexts. Extinction, a simple explanation. What is extinction? In psychology, extinction refers to the process by which a previously reinforced behavior decreases or stops occurring when the reinforcement is no longer provided. It is an important concept in behavioral psychology, particularly in understanding how behaviors are learned and unlearned. Key concepts. 1. Conditioned behavior. Extinction is often discussed in the context of conditioned behaviors, which are behaviors that have been learned through reinforcement. For example, if a child receives praise every time they clean their room, they learn to clean their room regularly. 2. Removal of reinforcement. Extinction occurs when the reinforcement that was previously given for a behavior is removed. Continuing with the previous example, if the child no longer receives praise for cleaning their room, they may start to clean it less often or stop altogether. 3. Gradual decrease. The behavior does not stop immediately. Instead, it tends to decrease gradually over time. Initially, the individual may still engage in the behavior sporadically, but as the reinforcement continues to be absent, the behavior becomes less frequent. 4. Spontaneous recovery. After a period of extinction, the behavior may temporarily reappear, known as spontaneous recovery. This means that even though the behavior has diminished, it can suddenly resurface after a break from the situation. 5. Importance of consistency. For extinction to be effective, it must be consistent. If reinforcement is occasionally given again after a behavior has started to extinguish, it can lead to confusion and make the extinction process less effective. Important details. Different types of reinforcement. Extinction can occur for different types of reinforcement, including positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. For instance, if a student stops studying because they no longer receive good grades, that would be an example of extinction from positive reinforcement. Emotional reactions. During the extinction process, individuals may experience frustration or confusion, especially if they previously received reinforcement for the behavior. This is often referred to as an extinction burst, where the behavior may temporarily increase in frequency before it starts to decrease. Real-life applications. Understanding extinction is useful in various settings, including parenting, education, and therapy. It helps in developing strategies to reduce unwanted behaviors by removing the reinforcement that maintains them. Examples to illustrate the concepts. Example in parenting. If a parent wants to reduce their child's tantrums when they don't get a toy, they might decide to ignore the tantrums instead of giving in to the child's demands. Over time, as the child realizes that tantrums no longer lead to getting what they want, the frequency of tantrums may decrease. Example in education. A teacher notices that a student frequently calls out answers without raising their hand. If the teacher stops giving attention to the student when they do this, the student may eventually stop calling out. Example in animal training. A dog that is trained to sit for a treat may stop sitting if the trainer no longer provides treats when the dog sits. As the dog realizes that sitting doesn't result in a treat anymore, it may eventually stop doing the behavior. Summary. Extinction is a process in psychology where a previously reinforced behavior decreases or stops occurring when the reinforcement is removed. It involves the gradual reduction of the behavior over time and can lead to frustration or confusion during the process. Understanding extinction is important for anyone studying psychology or preparing for the CPC exam, as it provides insights into how behaviors can be learned and unlearned effectively. Modeling, a simple explanation. What is modeling? Modeling is a learning technique where individuals learn behaviors, skills, or attitudes by observing and imitating others. It is based on the idea that people can learn not just from direct experiences, but also from watching others perform tasks or exhibit certain behaviors. This concept is widely used in psychology, education, and various forms of training. Key concepts. 1. Observational learning. Modeling is often referred to as observational learning. This means that individuals can learn new behaviors simply by watching someone else perform those behaviors. 2. Models. A model can be anyone who demonstrates a behavior, such as parents, teachers, peers, or even characters in media. The effectiveness of modeling often depends on the characteristics of the model, such as their credibility, attractiveness, and relationship to the observer. 3. Imitation. After observing a model, the individual imitates the behavior. Imitation is a key part of modeling, as it involves replicating the actions, attitudes, or skills demonstrated by the model. 4. Reinforcement. The likelihood of someone imitating a behavior can be influenced by the consequences the model receives. If the model is rewarded for their behavior, observers are more likely to imitate that behavior. Conversely, if the model is punished, observers may be less likely to imitate it. 5. Role of attention. For modeling to be effective, the observer must pay attention to the model. Factors such as the observer's interest in the behavior and the clarity of the demonstration can impact how well the behavior is learned. Important details. 4 steps of modeling. Albert Bandura, a key figure in the study of modeling, identified 4 steps involved in the modeling process. 1. Attention. The observer must pay attention to the model's behavior. 2. Retention. The observer must remember the behavior after seeing it. 3. Reproduction. The observer must be able to reproduce or imitate the behavior. 4. Motivation. The observer must have a reason to imitate the behavior, often influenced by the expected rewards or consequences. Applications. Modeling is used in various settings, including education, therapy, and parenting. Cultural influence. Cultural factors can also influence modeling. Different cultures may have varying norms, values, and behaviors that individuals learn to imitate based on their environment. Examples to illustrate the concepts. Example in education. A teacher demonstrates how to solve a math problem on the board. Students watch carefully, remember the steps shown, and then try to solve similar problems themselves. If the teacher praises them for their efforts, they are likely to continue using those problem-solving techniques. Example in parenting. A parent who consistently uses polite language and good manners at home serves as a model for their children. The children observe their parent and begin to imitate these behaviors in their interactions with others, such as saying please and thank you. Example in media. A character in a popular TV show displays bravery in a difficult situation. Viewers, especially children, may imitate this behavior in their own lives, believing that being brave is a desirable trait. If the character is rewarded or praised for their bravery, viewers are more likely to imitate that behavior. Summary. Modeling is a learning process where individuals learn behaviors by observing and imitating others. It involves observational learning, imitation, and reinforcement, with the effectiveness of modeling influenced by factors such as attention and the characteristics of the model. Understanding modeling is important for anyone studying psychology or preparing for the CPC exam, as it provides valuable insights into how behaviors and skills are learned in various contexts. Functional analysis, a simple explanation. What is functional analysis? Functional analysis is a method used in psychology and behavior therapy to understand the purpose or function of a specific behavior. By analyzing the context and consequences of a behavior, therapists can identify why it occurs and develop effective strategies to change it. The goal is to understand behaviors in terms of their triggers and the outcomes they produce. Key concepts. 1. Behavior functions. Functional analysis focuses on determining the reasons behind a behavior. Behaviors can serve different functions, such as to gain attention. A child might throw a tantrum to get their parents' attention. To escape or avoid. A student may refuse to participate in class to avoid embarrassment or failure. To obtain a tangible reward. A person might engage in certain behaviors to receive a desired object or privilege, like asking for a treat. To self-soothe or fulfill a sensory need. Some behaviors may be performed to calm oneself or seek sensory experiences, like rocking back and forth. 2. Antecedents, behaviors, and consequences. Functional analysis often uses the ABC model to examine behaviors. Antecedents. These are the triggers or events that occur before the behavior. For example, a child may act out when they're given a difficult task. Behavior. This is the action or response itself. In this case, it could be the child throwing their homework or yelling. Consequences. These are the outcomes that follow the behavior, which can reinforce it. For example, if the child gets out of doing the homework or receives attention from their parents, this can encourage the behavior to occur again in the future. 3. Data collection. Conducting a functional analysis often involves collecting data on the behavior over time. This can include observing the behavior in different situations, noting the antecedents and consequences, and tracking patterns. This data helps identify the specific triggers and functions of the behavior. 4. Intervention development. Once the function of the behavior is understood, therapists can create targeted interventions to address it. This may involve changing the environment, teaching alternative behaviors, or modifying how consequences are applied. Important details. Individual differences. Every individual is unique, and the functions of behaviors can vary widely from person to person. What works as a reinforcement for one individual may not work for another. Ethical considerations. It's important to conduct functional analysis ethically, ensuring that individuals are treated with respect and that their dignity is maintained throughout. The assessment and intervention process. Real-life applications. Functional analysis is commonly used in various fields, such as education, therapy, and behavior management. It helps educators and therapists develop effective strategies to support individuals with behavioral challenges. Examples to illustrate the concepts. Example in classroom behavior. If a student frequently disrupts class, a teacher might conduct a functional analysis. They observe that the disruptions happen after the teacher gives difficult instructions. The behavior results in the teacher stopping the lesson to address the student, giving the student attention. Understanding this can help the teacher find ways to provide support or modify instructions instead of reinforcing the disruptive behavior. Example in parenting. A parent notices that their child throws a tantrum when it's time to leave the playground. By analyzing the situation, the parent identifies that the tantrum occurs when the child is tired and often leads to the parent allowing extra playtime. Recognizing this pattern can help the parent develop strategies to prepare the child for transitions better, such as giving warnings before it's time to leave. Example in therapy. A therapist working with a client who engages in self-harm might conduct a functional analysis to determine the triggers for the behavior. They may find that the self-harm occurs when the client feels overwhelmed and leads to a feeling of relief or distraction. Understanding this can help the therapist teach healthier coping strategies to manage overwhelming feelings. Summary. Functional analysis is a method used to understand the reasons behind specific behaviors by examining their triggers and consequences. It involves using the ABC model to identify antecedents, behaviors, and consequences, and then collecting data to analyze patterns. This understanding helps in developing targeted interventions to address behaviors effectively. Understanding functional analysis is valuable for anyone studying psychology or preparing for the CPC exam, as it provides insights into behavior management and therapeutic strategies. Murray Bowen, an overview. Murray Bowen was an influential psychiatrist and the founder of family systems theory, which is a way of understanding how families operate and how they affect individuals within the family. His work is particularly important in therapy and psychology, especially in understanding relationships, communication, and emotional health. Key concepts. 1. Family systems theory. Definition. This theory suggests that families are like systems where every member affects each other. Changes in one part of the system can influence the entire family. Example. If one sibling starts acting out at school, it may stress the whole family, affecting how parents interact with each other and their other children. 2. Differentiation of self. Definition. This concept refers to the ability of individuals to separate their own thoughts and feelings from those of their family members. It's about being your own person while still being connected to your family. Importance. Higher differentiation means a person can manage their emotions better and make decisions independently, which can lead to healthier relationships. Example. A young adult who can express their own opinions without feeling overly influenced by their parents is demonstrating a high level of differentiation. 3. Emotional triangles. Definition. A triangle is a three-person relationship where two people in conflict pull in a third person to stabilize the emotional situation. This often happens when one person feels overwhelmed and seeks support or distraction from another. Example. If parents are fighting, one child might become the peacemaker or confide in a grandparent, creating a triangle that distracts from the parents' conflict. 4. Anxiety in families. Definition. Bowen believed that anxiety can spread through families, affecting everyone's behavior and interactions. High levels of anxiety can lead to unhealthy patterns, such as avoidance or conflict. Example. If a family member is going through a tough time, their stress might make others in the family feel anxious, leading to arguments or withdrawal among family members. 5. Multigenerational transmission process. Definition. This concept explains how family patterns and behaviors are passed down from one generation to the next. Children often learn how to cope with stress and relationships based on their parents' behaviors and attitudes. Example. If parents handle conflicts by arguing openly, their children may learn to do the same in their adult relationships. Important details. Bowen's approach to therapy. Bowen focused on understanding family dynamics and helping individuals achieve better differentiation from their families. He believed that by understanding these dynamics, people can improve their emotional health and relationships. Use of therapy. In therapy, Bowen's techniques often involve exploring family history, identifying patterns, and addressing how these patterns affect current relationships. Therapists may encourage clients to reflect on their family roles and how these impact their lives. Conclusion. Murray Bowen's work has greatly influenced psychology and therapy by emphasizing the importance of family dynamics. His ideas help us understand how relationships within families can affect our emotions and behaviors. By recognizing these patterns, individuals can work towards healthier relationships and better emotional well-being. Understanding Bowen's concepts can be beneficial not only for those in therapy, but also for anyone looking to improve their family relationships. Triangulation. Understanding the concept. Triangulation is a term used in psychology, particularly in the context of family dynamics and relationships. It describes a situation where one person in a conflict involves another person to help manage the tension or anxiety between them and another person. This can happen in families, friendships, or any group where people interact with each other. Key concepts. 1. Definition of triangulation. Triangulation occurs when a person tries to reduce stress in a relationship by bringing in a third person. This third person may act as a mediator, support, or distraction. It's often a way to avoid direct confrontation or to cope with uncomfortable feelings. 2. How it works. In a triangle, you have 3 people: person A, person B, and person C. If A and B are in conflict, it might talk to C about the issues with B instead of addressing B directly. This can create a situation where C becomes involved in the conflict, which may relieve some pressure for A, but complicates the dynamics among all 3 individuals. 3. Reasons for triangulation. Avoidance of conflict. Many people find direct confrontation uncomfortable, so they seek support from a third person to avoid dealing with the issue directly. Emotional support. A person may feel overwhelmed and need another person's perspective or validation on their feelings about the conflict. Power dynamics. Sometimes, people use triangulation as a way to gain control or power in a situation by influencing how others see the conflict. Important details. Negative consequences. While triangulation can provide short-term relief, it often leads to misunderstandings and unresolved issues. The third person may feel pressured or caught in the middle, complicating their relationships with both parties. Example in a family. Imagine a situation where a mother and father are arguing. Their child might feel uncomfortable seeing the conflict. Instead of encouraging the parents to talk it out, the child might confide in a grandparent about the arguments. This pulls the grandparent into the situation, which can create more tension and confusion for everyone involved. Healthy versus unhealthy triangulation. Sometimes, involving a third party can be beneficial if it leads to resolution and better communication. For example, a family therapist can help facilitate communication between family members. However, when it's done informally and without resolution, it can lead to more problems. Conclusion. Triangulation is a common pattern in relationships where one person brings in a third person to help deal with conflict. While it may seem like a way to handle emotional stress, it can complicate relationships and prevent direct communication. Understanding triangulation can help individuals recognize unhealthy patterns in their relationships and encourage more direct and honest communication. By addressing conflicts head-on, people can work towards healthier interactions and stronger relationships. Differentiation of self, a simple explanation. Differentiation of self is a key concept in psychology, particularly in family systems theory, created by Murray Bowen. It refers to the ability of an individual to separate their own thoughts and feelings from those of their family members or significant others. This is important for maintaining emotional health and forming healthy relationships. Key concepts. 1. Definition. Differentiation of self means being able to think for yourself and act according to your own beliefs and feelings, rather than just reacting to what others think or feel. It's about knowing who you are as an individual while still being connected to your family or close relationships. 2. High versus low differentiation. High differentiation. Individuals with high differentiation can express their opinions and feelings without being overly influenced by others. They're good at managing their emotions and can maintain their sense of self in relationships. Example, a young adult who could discuss their career goals with their parents without feeling pressured to follow their parents' expectations shows high differentiation. Low differentiation. Individuals with low differentiation often feel overwhelmed by their emotions and tend to rely heavily on others for support and validation. They might struggle to express their own needs or opinions. Example, a teenager who feels anxious about making a decision because they fear disappointing their friends or family demonstrates low differentiation. 3. Emotional reactivity. This term refers to how strongly a person reacts to emotional situations. People with low differentiation often have high emotional reactivity, meaning they may become very upset or anxious in stressful situations. They might react impulsively instead of thinking things through. Example, if a family member criticizes them, a person with low differentiation might react with anger or withdrawal, while someone with high differentiation might calmly discuss their feelings about the criticism. 4. Family influence. Families play a significant role in shaping an individual's level of differentiation. Families that encourage open communication and individual expression promote higher differentiation. Conversely, families that rely on rigid roles or emotional pressure may lead to lower differentiation. Example: in a family where everyone is expected to agree and avoid conflict, children may learn to suppress their own opinions and feelings, leading to lower differentiation. 5. Importance of differentiation. Higher differentiation contributes to healthier relationships, better decision-making, and improved emotional well-being. It allows individuals to maintain their identity while still being part of a family or community. Example: an adult who can set boundaries with family members while still keeping a close relationship shows a good level of differentiation. They can say no when needed without feeling guilty. Conclusion: differentiation of self is a crucial aspect of emotional health and relationships. It helps individuals maintain their identity, manage their emotions, and communicate effectively with others. By understanding and developing differentiation, people can build stronger, healthier relationships while being true to themselves. Recognizing the importance of this concept can help anyone work towards better emotional health and more fulfilling connections with others. Fusion. Understanding the concept. In psychology, particularly within the context of family systems theory developed by Murray Bowen, fusion refers to a state where individuals are overly connected to their family or significant others, losing their sense of self in the process. This can lead to difficulties in personal relationships and emotional well-being. Key concepts. 1. Definition of fusion. Fusion occurs when personal identities become intertwined to the point that individuals cannot separate their thoughts and feelings from those of others. This can result in a lack of independence and difficulty making decisions. 2. Characteristics of fusion. Emotional dependence. People who are fused often rely heavily on others for emotional support and validation. They may feel anxious or lost without the approval or presence of their family or close friends. Lack of personal boundaries. Individuals in a fused relationship may have a hard time setting boundaries. They might find it difficult to say no or express their own needs and desires. Over-identification. Fused individuals often define themselves based on their relationships with others rather than having a clear sense of their own identity. For example, someone might say, "I am my mother's child," rather than identifying themselves as an independent person. 3. Consequences of fusion. Emotional distress. Fusion can lead to anxiety, depression, and feelings of being overwhelmed. When individuals are too connected to others, they may struggle to cope with their own emotions. Difficulty in relationships. Fused individuals may have trouble forming healthy relationships outside their family. They might feel threatened by others or struggle to relate to friends and partners because they're too focused on their family dynamics. Conflict avoidance. People in a fused state often avoid conflict to maintain harmony, which can lead to unresolved issues and resentment. They may agree with others even if they disagree internally. 4. Example of fusion. Imagine a young adult who feels pressured to follow their parents' career choices. This person may have dreams and ambitions of their own, but feels unable to pursue them because they fear disappointing their parents. As a result, they suppress their own desires and become overly reliant on their parents' approval. This is a clear example of fusion, where the individual has lost their sense of self in the relationship. 5. Breaking free from fusion. To achieve healthier relationships, individuals need to work on differentiating themselves from their family or significant others. This involves recognizing their own thoughts and feelings, setting boundaries, and learning to express their needs assertively. Example: a person can start by identifying their own interests, pursuing hobbies, or making decisions independently, which helps them build a stronger sense of self outside their family influence. Conclusion. Fusion is a psychological concept that highlights how overly close emotional connections with family or others can hinder personal growth and emotional health. Understanding fusion is essential for recognizing unhealthy patterns in relationships. By working towards differentiation, individuals can develop a stronger sense of self, create healthier boundaries, and enjoy more fulfilling relationships. Recognizing and addressing fusion can lead to greater emotional well-being and personal independence. Nuclear family emotional system. A simple explanation. The nuclear family emotional system is a concept from family systems theory, particularly associated with the work of Murray Bowen. It describes how emotions and behaviors within a family unit affect each member's mental health and relationships. The nuclear family typically consists of two parents and their children, but this can also include other close relatives who live together or are involved in the family dynamics. Key concepts. 1. Definition. The nuclear family emotional system refers to the way emotional interactions among family members create patterns of behavior and emotional responses. It suggests that the emotional health of each family member is influenced by their relationships with one another. 2. Emotional connection. Family members in a nuclear family are deeply connected emotionally. This means that the feelings and actions of one member can significantly impact the others. For example, if one parent is stressed or anxious, it can create tension and anxiety in the children. 3. Common patterns. Conflict. When disagreements arise, they can lead to heightened emotions that affect everyone in the family. How these conflicts are resolved can either strengthen or weaken family bonds. Support. Families often provide emotional support to each other. When one member is going through a tough time, the others may rally to help, which can improve emotional well-being. Avoidance. Sometimes, families may avoid dealing with conflicts or uncomfortable emotions. This can lead to unresolved issues that create tension and stress over time. 4. Roles within the family. Each member of the nuclear family may take on specific roles that influence the emotional system. For example, the peacemaker, a child or parent who tries to resolve conflicts and keep harmony. The scapegoat, a family member who is often blamed for problems, which can create emotional distress for that person. The caregiver, someone who takes on the responsibility of supporting others emotionally, potentially at the expense of their own needs. 5. Impact on mental health. The emotional system of the nuclear family can affect each member's mental health. Healthy emotional connections can promote well-being, while toxic dynamics can lead to issues like anxiety, depression, or low self-esteem. Example: if a child grows up in a supportive environment where their feelings are validated, they're likely to develop confidence and healthy relationships. Conversely, if they experience constant criticism or neglect, they may struggle with self-worth and emotional regulation. Important details. Generational influence. The emotional patterns in a nuclear family can be influenced by previous generations. For example, if parents have unresolved issues from their own childhood, they may unknowingly pass those patterns to their children. Communication. Open and honest communication is vital for a healthy nuclear family emotional system. Families that encourage discussions about feelings and conflicts tend to function better. Therapeutic interventions. Family therapy can help address unhealthy dynamics within a nuclear family. It provides a space for members to express their feelings, understand each other better, and work towards healthier interactions. Genogram. A simple explanation. A genogram is a visual tool used to represent family relationships and dynamics over multiple generations. It looks like a family tree, but includes more detailed information about family members, such as their relationships, emotions, health issues, and significant life events. Genograms are often used in therapy, social work, and education to help people understand their family backgrounds and patterns. Key concepts. 1. Definition. A genogram is a diagram that maps out a person's family structure, showing how family members are related and highlighting important information about each member. It helps visualize complex family dynamics and patterns. 2. Symbols and notations. Genograms use specific symbols to represent different family members and relationships. Squares represent males. Circles represent females. Horizontal lines connect partners. Vertical lines connect parents to children. Different colors or markings can indicate various attributes, such as mental health issues or significant events. 3. Generational perspective. Genograms often include multiple generations, typically covering at least 3. This helps to identify patterns that may run in families, such as health issues, relationship dynamics, or emotional patterns. 4. Emotional relationships. Unlike a simple family tree, genograms can show the quality of relationships. For example, solid lines may indicate strong relationships, while dashed lines might represent strained or distant connections. 5. Health and behavioral patterns. Genograms can also include medical history, such as hereditary diseases or mental health concerns. This information helps identify potential risks and understand how family health issues may impact individuals. Important details. Uses of genograms. Therapy. In therapy, genograms help clients and therapists visualize family dynamics, making it easier to discuss patterns and issues. For example, a therapist might use a genogram to explore a client's family history of anxiety or depression. Social work. Social workers use genograms to assess family situations and understand the support structures available to individuals or families in need. Education. In educational settings, genograms can help students understand their family backgrounds and how these influence their own behaviors and relationships. Creating a genogram. To create a genogram, start by gathering information about your family members, including names, ages, relationships, and any relevant health or emotional information. Then, use symbols and lines to map out the relationships visually. It can be drawn by hand or created using software. Example of a genogram. Imagine a genogram for a family consisting of a mother, father, and 2 children. You might represent the mother with a circle, the father with a square, and connect them with a horizontal line to indicate their marriage. Each child would be represented by circles or squares beneath the parents. If one parent has a history of depression, a note or symbol could be added next to their representation. If there's a divorce, a dashed line could connect the parents instead of a solid line. Conclusion. A genogram is a powerful tool for visualizing family dynamics, relationships, and patterns across generations. By representing family members and their connections, genograms help individuals gain insight into their family history, emotional relationships, and potential health issues. This understanding can be crucial for personal growth, therapy, and improving family interactions. Milan Systematic Family Therapy. An overview. Milan Systematic Family Therapy is a therapeutic approach developed by Mara Salvini-Palazzoli and her colleagues in the 1970s. This approach focuses on understanding how families interact and communicate and aims to address problems by changing these patterns. The Milan approach is unique in that it emphasizes the role of family dynamics in creating and maintaining issues. Key concepts. 1. Family as a system. The Milan approach views the family as a complex system where each member influences the others. Problems arise not just from individual behaviors, but from the interactions and relationships within the family. Example: if one family member is struggling with anxiety, it may affect the emotional climate of the entire family, leading to tension and misunderstandings among all members. 2. Circularity. This concept means that family problems are understood in a circular way rather than a linear one. In other words, behaviors and issues are seen as interconnected, where one person's actions impact others, creating a cycle of behaviors. Example: if a parent is overly critical, the child may respond by withdrawing, which in turn may lead the parent to become more critical due to the perceived distance, perpetuating the cycle. 3. Neutrality. The therapist adopts a neutral stance, meaning they try not to take sides or show favoritism during therapy sessions. This helps create a safe space for all family members to express their feelings and perspectives without fear of judgment. Example: if siblings are in conflict, the therapist will listen to both sides equally, helping each sibling feel heard and understood. 4. Hypothesizing. Therapists create hypotheses about the family dynamics and patterns based on what they observe. These hypotheses help guide the therapy process by focusing on specific issues or interactions that need to be addressed. Example: a therapist might hypothesize that a family's communication style is contributing to misunderstandings and suggest that they practice more open communication techniques. 5. Interventions. The Milan approach uses various interventions to help families change unhelpful patterns. One common technique is the circular questioning, where therapists ask questions that encourage family members to reflect on their interactions and how they influence each other. Example, a therapist might ask, "How do you think your mother feels when you don't share your problems with her?" This encourages family members to think about each other's feelings and perspectives. Important details. Focus on beliefs. The Milan approach also examines the beliefs that families hold about themselves and each other. These beliefs can influence behaviors and interactions, so addressing them is essential for change. Team approach. Often, Milan therapists work in teams, which allows for multiple perspectives and insights during therapy sessions. This collaborative approach can enhance the understanding of family dynamics. Short-term therapy. The Milan systematic family therapy is typically brief, focusing on specific issues rather than delving deeply into the family's history. The goal is to create change quickly by altering the family's interaction patterns. Example of Milan therapy in action. Imagine a family where the parents are constantly arguing and their teenage daughter feels caught in the middle. During therapy, the therapist might observe that the daughter has started to avoid both parents to escape the conflict. The therapist would use circular questioning to explore how the parents' arguments affect the daughter and how her withdrawal influences the parents' behavior. By identifying these patterns, the family can work together to improve communication and reduce conflict. Conclusion. Milan's systematic family therapy, developed by Mara Salvini Palazzoli, offers a unique approach to understanding and resolving family issues by focusing on the interactions and dynamics within the family system. By examining circular patterns, maintaining neutrality, and using targeted interventions, this therapy helps families recognize and change unhelpful behaviors, leading to healthier relationships and improved emotional well-being. MRI Model Communications Model, an overview. The MRI model, also known as the Communications Model, was developed at the Mental Research Institute in Palo Alto, California. This approach focuses on understanding how communication patterns within families contribute to problems and how changing these patterns can lead to solutions. The model is primarily used in family therapy and emphasizes the importance of communication in shaping relationships and behaviors. Key concepts. 1. Communication patterns. The MRI model emphasizes that the way family members communicate with each other plays a crucial role in their relationships. Miscommunication or negative communication patterns can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. Example: if a parent constantly criticizes their child's choices without offering support, the child may feel inadequate or rebellious, leading to further conflict in the relationship. 2. Behavioral cycles. The model suggests that families often get stuck in unproductive cycles of behavior. These cycles can be triggered by specific events, but are maintained by the ongoing communication patterns among family members. Example: if a teenager feels neglected and starts acting out, the parents might respond with anger, which in turn makes the teenager feel more isolated, creating a cycle of miscommunication and conflict. 3. Feedback loops. Feedback loops refer to the process where the response of one family member affects the behavior of another, creating a continuous cycle. Understanding these loops helps therapists identify how behaviors are reinforced within the family. Example: if one spouse withdraws during an argument, the other may become more aggressive in an attempt to gain attention, leading to further withdrawal and conflict. 4. The role of the therapist. In the MRI model, the therapist acts as a facilitator who helps the family recognize and change their communication patterns. The therapist often remains neutral and does not take sides, allowing family members to express their thoughts and feelings freely. Example: during therapy, the therapist might help family members identify their roles in conflicts and encourage them to practice healthier communication techniques. 5. Solution-focused approach. The MRI model emphasizes finding solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Therapists encourage families to identify what they want to change and work towards those goals rather than focusing solely on past issues. Example: instead of discussing past arguments, the therapist may ask the family what they would like their interactions to look like in the future, guiding them to develop positive communication strategies. Important details. Brief therapy. The MRI model often involves short-term therapy sessions. The goal is to create quick changes in communication patterns to improve family dynamics without lengthy exploration of family history. Focus on present behavior. This approach primarily examines current behaviors and interactions rather than delving deeply into past experiences. It's more about how family members interact now and how they can improve those interactions. Example of the MRI model in action. Consider a family where the parents frequently argue about finances and their teenage son feels stressed by the tension. In therapy, the therapist would help the family recognize how their arguments create a negative atmosphere, affecting the son's well-being. Through circular questioning, the therapist might ask each family member how they feel during these arguments and how their behaviors contribute to the cycle of conflict. By practicing open communication and discussing financial concerns calmly, the family can work towards a more supportive environment. Conclusion. The MRI model, or communications model, developed at the Mental Research Institute in Palo Alto, focuses on understanding and changing communication patterns within families. By identifying unproductive cycles and encouraging solution-focused approaches, therapists help families improve their interactions and resolve conflicts. This model emphasizes the importance of communication in shaping relationships and promotes healthier dynamics for better emotional well-being. MRI Model Communications Model. Overview associated with Jay Haley. The MRI model, also known as the communications model, was developed at the Mental Research Institute in Palo Alto, California. While Jay Haley is more closely associated with strategic family therapy, his ideas also align with the principles of the MRI model. This approach focuses on understanding how communication patterns within families affect relationships and emotional health. Key concepts. 1. Communication patterns. The MRI model emphasizes that the way family members communicate can significantly influence their relationships. Miscommunication or negative communication styles can create conflicts and misunderstandings. Example: if a parent frequently criticizes a child without offering praise or support, the child may feel unloved and become rebellious, leading to further conflict. 2. Behavioral cycles. Families can get stuck in repetitive cycles of behavior. These cycles often arise from how family members interact with one another. For example, one family member's behavior can trigger a response from another, leading to a continuous loop of interaction that reinforces the problem. Example: if a teenager feels ignored and starts acting out, the parents may respond with anger. This response can drive the teenager to withdraw even more, creating a cycle of conflict and miscommunication. 3. Feedback loops. This concept refers to how the actions of one family member affect the behavior of others. Feedback loops can either reinforce negative behaviors or, when recognized, can be changed to promote positive interactions. Example: if one spouse withdraws during arguments, the other may become more assertive or confrontational, which can lead to more withdrawal from the first spouse, perpetuating the conflict. 4. The role of the therapist. In the MRI model, the therapist acts as a facilitator who helps the family identify and change unhelpful communication patterns. The therapist remains neutral and does not take sides, which encourages open dialogue among family members. Example: the therapist may guide family members to express their thoughts and feelings in a way that fosters understanding and resolution, helping them to break negative cycles. 5. Strategic interventions. Jay Haley's influence on the MRI model includes using strategic interventions to address specific problems. This means the therapist might suggest particular tasks or homework for family members to practice new ways of communicating or interacting. Example: a therapist might ask family members to spend time together in a positive way, like having a family dinner where everyone shares something they appreciate about one another, reinforcing positive communication. Important details. Focus on present behavior. The MRI model emphasizes current behaviors and interactions rather than delving deeply into past events. The goal is to identify how family members can improve their relationships right now. Short-term therapy. The approach typically involves brief therapy sessions, focusing on creating quick changes in communication patterns to improve family dynamics. Example of the MRI model in action. Imagine a family where the parents frequently argue about household responsibilities and their teenage daughter feels stressed and caught in the middle. In therapy, the therapist would help the family recognize how their arguments create tension and impact the daughter's well-being. Through questioning, the therapist might ask each family member how they feel during these conflicts and encourage them to express their needs and concerns constructively. By practicing new communication strategies and addressing the responsibilities collaboratively, the family can work towards reducing conflict and improving their relationships. Conclusion. The MRI model, associated with J. Haley, focuses on understanding and changing communication patterns within families. By identifying behavioral cycles and using strategic interventions, therapists help families improve their interactions and resolve conflicts. This model emphasizes the importance of effective communication in fostering healthier relationships and emotional well-being. Reality therapy choice theory, an overview. Reality therapy and choice theory are concepts developed by psychologist William Glasser. These approaches focus on understanding how our choices and behaviors affect our lives and relationships. They emphasize personal responsibility and the idea that we can control our actions to meet our needs and improve our well-being. Key concepts. 1. Choice theory. Choice theory is the foundation of reality therapy. It suggests that all human behavior is driven by our choices. According to Glasser, we're not motivated by external forces, but rather by internal desires and needs. Example: if a student chooses to study hard for an exam, it's because they want to achieve good grades and feel a sense of accomplishment. 2. Basic needs. Glasser identified 5 basic needs that drive human behavior. Survival, the need for food, shelter, and safety. Love and belonging, the need for relationships, acceptance, and connection with others. Power, the need for achievement, control, and a sense of self-worth. Freedom, the need for independence and the ability to make choices. Fun, the need for enjoyment, play, and pleasure. Understanding these needs helps individuals recognize what drives their decisions and behaviors. 3. Reality therapy. Reality therapy is a therapeutic approach that focuses on helping individuals make better choices to fulfill their basic needs. It emphasizes personal responsibility and encourages clients to take charge of their lives. Example: in therapy, a client might discuss their struggles with relationships. The therapist would help them explore how their choices affect those relationships and guide them in making healthier decisions. 4. The WDEP system. Glasser developed the WDEP system as a framework for reality therapy. It includes 4 components. W. Wants, identifying what the client wants and needs. D. Doing, exploring what the client is currently doing to meet those wants. E. Evaluation, encouraging clients to evaluate whether their current behaviors are effective in achieving their goals. P. Planning, helping clients create a plan to make better choices that align with their needs and desires. Example: a teenager might want to improve their grades. The therapist would help them assess their study habits, evaluate if those habits are working, and plan new strategies like setting a study schedule. 5. Focus on the present. Reality therapy emphasizes living in the present rather than dwelling on the past. It encourages clients to focus on their current choices and how those choices can lead to a better future. Example: instead of focusing on past failures, a client is encouraged to think about what they can do now to improve their situation. Important details. Personal responsibility. A key principle of both reality therapy and choice theory is that individuals are responsible for their choices and the consequences of those choices. This empowers clients to take control of their lives and make positive changes. Therapeutic relationship. The relationship between the therapist and the client is crucial. A supportive and trusting relationship enhances the effectiveness of therapy, as clients are more likely to open up and explore their choices. Conclusion. Reality therapy and choice theory, developed by William Glasser, focus on the idea that our choices shape our lives and that we have the power to change our circumstances by making better decisions. By understanding our basic needs and using the WDP system, individuals can take responsibility for their actions, improve their relationships, and work toward fulfilling their desires. This approach encourages living in the present and making choices that lead to a healthier, more satisfying life. Solution-oriented brief therapy, an overview. Solution-oriented brief therapy is a type of therapy that focuses on finding solutions to problems rather than exploring the problems themselves in depth. It was developed to help clients quickly identify their strengths and resources to create positive changes in their lives. The therapy is typically short-term, making it efficient for people looking for immediate help. Key concepts. 1. Focus on solutions. SOBT emphasizes looking for solutions instead of dwelling on problems. The idea is that by focusing on what clients want to achieve, they can find ways to make those desired changes happen. Example: if a client is struggling with anxiety, instead of discussing all the possible reasons for their anxiety, the therapist would ask what a calmer, happier life would look like for them. 2. The miracle question. One of the most popular techniques in SOBT is the miracle question. This question helps clients envision a future where their problems are solved, allowing them to identify specific changes they desire in their lives. Example: a therapist might ask, if you woke up tomorrow and a miracle happened and all your problems were solved, what would be different in your life? This question encourages clients to think about their goals and the steps needed to reach them. 3. Identifying strengths and resources. SOBT encourages clients to recognize their existing strengths and resources. It focuses on what has worked for them in the past